Well, it's like, it's different when it's just the three of us. Just the three of us.
Just the three of us.
You can
make it if you try.
Oh my god.
I thought that's where you were going with it. It's just the three of us.
It was, but that's not. I'm trying to.
Thank you.
I'm trying to focus up.
You're listening to The Janchi Show, hosted by 3 Korean American adoptees diving headfirst into what it means to be adopted, Korean, American, and more. And now, here's your hosts, Nathan, Patrick, and KJ.
What's good, y'all? It's 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast, and I am damn tired. Who am I? Patrick Armstrong, one of your hosts of The Janchi Show, and I'm here with my bros, KJ Roelke and Nathan Noack. Fellas, tell the people how you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Hi, people.
I was just looking through some photos, and I'm like, I kind of missed the ice and the snow just because my daughter was freaking adorable in it. But I like being able to leave my house. So, pros and cons.
So Minji's played out in the snow?
Oh, yeah. She had the time of her life. My friend actually pointed out that she had a hat that had ears on it, and then her hood also had ears on it. So at no point did she not have ears on her head, and it was adorable.
That's a real 6 ears situation, I would say.
The old 6 ears.
The old 6 ears, playing in the snow for the first time. First time?
Second time. But first time since she's like, her age. It's basically her first time.
The first time being aware of what's happening.
Yeah, because she was like 3 months, I guess, the first time that it happened. 3 months old or something like that. So we were just like, look, snow, come back inside. You're cold.
We can no longer be out here.
Yeah.
Speaking of no longer being out there, now that we are inside this conversation, Nathan, why don't you tell the people what Janchi means for those that may not know?
We are the Janchi Show because Korean word for celebrate or feast. And we use that as... At the end of the show, we sometimes feast on a new snack or drink, but we also, during the show, celebrate our identities as Korean adoptees. We have guests, we have solos, we have specials, we have live performances occasionally. It's been a while.
We've had live shows.
I know. I was like, when do we have a live performance? Like, we've done it 4 times.
We've had live shows, but yeah. And that's it. We are amplifying adoptee voices. So...
Facts. Do you remember the other potential titles that we had for the show that we were mulling around? I can't even think, because you said that we liked the word, and I'm like, what other words were we even banding about?
The only other word that I remember we considered at one point was the Uri show.
Yeah. And then that got taken.
Which got taken, exactly.
Yeah.
Not on YouTube and everything else. So I'm kind of glad we didn't choose that, but... I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. Uri, right?
Okay, I do remember now having that conversation. But there is another show that has that name, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
There's another show. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
and it's not us.
Yeah.
It's not.
There is no
us.
other Janchi show. So there's maybe a Joan Chi. Maybe Joan Chi was there.
Oh, yeah. I create spin-off shows like Nathan creates new shirts. It's a lot of ideas and no traction.
I like it. Before we move any further, the reason I did that second snap was because I realized that my device was not recording. So if you want to use my terrible headphone audio, we can, because I thought that was pretty good intro that we've had going on. But if not, you just have to start at about 3 minutes off.
Nope, we're using the bad audio.
Perfect. I love it.
We've come too far.
So we've come too far to turn back now. And speaking of turning back, we're going to turn right back around into this conversation. And
turn around.
What?
Bright eyes.
There you go. You've been singing a lot lately.
We have a new karaoke machine.
Okay.
Nice.
The kids
It's
love
golden
it.
nonstop.
Yes. It has its own K-pop Demon Hunter category. It does.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Nice. We were supposed to record a few days ago, and I got deathly ill from chicken that I ate. But
Glad
we
you're
were
feeling
talking
better, though.
about some stuff that went down. So I've kind of forgotten a little bit of what happened. So can you just give me like high-level broad strokes?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting thing. You see in groups that have a large amount of people on, Facebook or maybe Discord or any social media platform, right? There's always the potential of conflicting opinions on very strong topics, typically political topics or current situations, and that's exactly what was happening. Is there was some interesting topics that were happening, and they were being discussed, but then also being closed, where it was causing too much drama or potentially harmful discussion because, people cannot sometimes debate calmly, I feel, on strong topics like that. And so it just wasn't happening anymore. Things were closing and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing to discuss is are there spaces where people can talk about topics that are potentially, controversial?
I think like what I've only just recently fully realized, even though I've probably said it multiple times on the show and other places, is that social media truly is an echo chamber of like one side or the other side. There's not a lot of like nuance happening. And I say that as somebody who's like using Threads a lot and finding a lot of nuance, I feel like, in conversations around hard topics. But also, like if I'm on there for too long, I start to only see those other things. And this situation reminded me of like when I first entered into the community. And like my in outside of the podcast was on Facebook. And I only got back on there because Jerry and other people were telling me, you got to be on Facebook. That's where everybody's talking, having the conversations. And so I was like, okay, I'm feeling left out. Let me get back on here after I haven't been on for like 10 years. But my experience with some of the conversations happening in the Facebook groups, while at first like felt really revolutionary and necessary, quickly devolved into that like this or that, either or, generally along the lines of you either love adoption or you hate adoption. And at that point, it felt like that situation was unsafe. And so, like, even though I was very active in social media spaces in the adoptee community, I felt like because of my experience with Facebook and what happened on Facebook when I first entered in the community, I had to be very particular about the spaces online that I was putting myself in. So, I don't know. I think I don't know. Can you talk about, like, what some of the hard topics were that, like, people were discussing? I think if there's like some extra context.
Yeah, I think like a good way to frame it, and I think actually like for us at the start of our show, it was pandemic, and so there's a lot of talk around coronavirus, where it came from, a lot of like racist rhetoric around that, and then a lot of like very politicized rhetoric around whether or not to get a vaccine. And I think in the midst of like whether or not, like when you are a human in America trying to find just some type of like social consensus of like, are my peers doing this or not? Then like it can feel like if you ask a question about it, because getting a vaccine became so political in 2020, that like a question that was just like, should I do this, became like highly politicized. And I think what we're seeing now is talking about like ICE and what ICE is doing, in the way ICE is being utilized in Minnesota and weaponized in Minnesota. I think like that is also like we're kind of regardless of not regardless of your stance on immigration, but like that has become a political topic. And so I think like what I'm seeing in multiple spaces is adoptees asking like, hey, I'm an Asian body. What do I need to do to like be safe? Not how seriously, but how proactive do I need to be to keep myself safe? Because I've seen like lots of people be detained without cause or, whatever, who are U.S. citizens and like, so all that kind of stuff. And then I think just because it's ICE, because it's related to the federal government, suddenly becomes political. And then certain people, whether it's people in the comments, whether it's moderators for these groups or whatever, just like immediately shut it down. And then it becomes hard to be like, but I just need some information to like go to the grocery store. I'm not trying to be political, but I do have real thoughts and I do have real fears and I do have real concerns and I do, whatever that is. And so it's like, well, how do I navigate this if my only safe spaces of like-minded or like-experienced people are online in like a Facebook group, a Reddit, a subreddit, like a Discord channel, etc.
Yeah, totally. I think, especially in the adoptee community, I feel like there were a lot of people who were similar to us, or at similar points in their journey, even though we talked about all being at different points in our journey at the time when we started the show. I feel like a lot of people were like getting active and finding people, and that was all happening online because of the pandemic. And like people, so it's interesting. I actually haven't thought about it, but 100% we were probably talking about then too, because especially after the spa shootings in Atlanta, like I think people were, part of this was motivated by fear of like the way people were being treated who looked like us, specifically Asian adoptees. And I think it's similar now, especially thinking about how just trying to ask the question, it's like feels scary to ask, like, how do I move from one place to another and be okay?
Yeah.
Especially when other people in your community who have differing views or political views or perspectives or whatever, when people are like making sweeping or doing things to like limit or suppress or shut down somebody from even asking the question. Right. And then that makes people afraid. And like that fear, which is coming from inside of our community, which is like different from the pandemic because that was external. I feel like some fears are being caused internally in communities, and that's like doing the work of ICE or immigration enforcement or this current administration in the federal government. Like, and that's what they want. They don't want you to ask. They don't want you to leave your house. Maybe they do want you to leave your house because they want to grab you and throw you in a detention center. But that's one of the things I'm thinking about is how like the fears now coming from inside our own community in some ways. But I'm also thinking about like, I'm seeing a lot of accounts now, like especially in the last few weeks, that have shared screenshots of somebody saying, I'm an adoptee, so I'm also a naturalized citizen, and I'm afraid. And then like that's going viral. And I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, I get it for sure. And I think that's good. Like, maybe not good that it goes viral, but good to like, people are recognizing, oh, hey, this is like a lived experience that, like falls into this category of people under attack, which is everybody. But on the other hand, I'm like, I hate that we always have to like end up in terrible situations that are happening to all people for anybody to give a shit. Like, and so thinking about like safe spaces, like I would almost feel unsafe. I'll be 100% honest. I've actually stopped like talking about being adopted as publicly as I have been for the past 5 years because I don't want to get removed from my kid or my wife.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to be removed from me. And I'm not going to lie. Like that's the fear I'm talking about. Like I'm afraid. I'm afraid to leave my house every single day. Like I walk around with my passport every day. Like I'm real worried. But I think the reason that I want to keep doing all the stuff that I'm doing is because like it's important and they want you to be afraid. But also like I just wish that we had the safe spaces already a long time ago by the people who were our ancestors our elders or our peers from like first and second wave adoptees to be like, I don't know, to have just normalized the experience so people don't have to get put on blast by large accounts that then now inadvertently may be putting that person in danger.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just rambling right now, but like, yeah, like it's
and
just,
not to put everybody in an increased fear, I guess. As far as I know, there have not been any adoptees that have recently been deported with this recent thing. They may have been detained, which
that's still fucked up. But that's the thing. Like we've already know of at least 50 people who have been deported just prior to any of this.
That's what I was going to say.
That's the thing. Like we're already been victims of this cycle.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too.
Now,
like immigration enforcement's always been there. It's just now, like when white protesters are getting murdered, like that's when people are starting to care about it.
The rest of the nation cares about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, and I appreciate you saying that you're afraid because, and that's the kind of the other thrust of what we wanted to talk about in this episode is just like what the hell do we do? And like, how are we feeling? Because my passport's expired, so I need to get that renewed, and I don't have a printer. So I need to, because I want to, okay, my passport's expired. I want to get it renewed. I don't have a printer, but I need to like print out the form so that I can mail in the thing with my passport book so that I can get both a book and a card so I can walk around with the card, right? Not that I even go anywhere. I work from home like 100% of the time. Sarah goes grocery shopping because, it's like I don't have to go anywhere unless I choose to go somewhere. But sometimes boy got to leave his house. And I don't know who to ask, hey, can you print this out for me? I don't have any international trips planned. And I don't want to do the labor of saying, like, I'm worried I might get got. It would be accidental, but that doesn't stop me from being detained and potentially being shipped to, like, the new detention center that they're going to build apparently in Texas or, whatever. And, like, be separated from my family for some amount of time because of what ICE is doing. And again, I don't live in, like, downtown Dallas where ICE is, but, like, that doesn't mean that they're not coming up to the suburbs. Like, I do live kind of close to Koreatown. So, like, there's that. And there's not like I don't get to wear like a little badge that says, oh, I'm adopted. It's okay. You don't have to worry about me. So like I don't even, I'm like, I want to renew my passport. I don't really know who to talk to get the form so that I can do that. And then I have to wait, hopefully 4 weeks or not much longer than that to get the stuff back. And then I'll feel slightly better about if I do get stopped, then so it's all of that. And when we had planned on recording this before you got sick and we were just kind of talking about this, that night I went to bed and had a nightmare about getting got by ICE. And I'd been playing in church earlier that day and was just generally annoyed at being in church because I had to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and that gave me a lot of feelings. And then I don't really listen to the message, so I don't even know. But just like broadly, churches annoy me, kind of like if they're not being really outspoken and like advocates of like people who are hurting, and they're not providing like mutual aid, and like, what are you guys doing? And so I was just like in a bad headspace, and I was like catching up on like what was happening in Minnesota and just like trying to see, because like honestly, the people in Minnesota are making me feel hopeful in the way that they care about their neighbors, the way that I was like, when I was saying the Pledge of Allegiance, I was like, I'm thinking about you, Minnesota, because like y'all are who I want to be when I grow up, Yeah. And so we plan on talking about it that night. Have a nightmare about like literally being shot by ICE, and like Sarah was in the car with me, Minji was in the car with me, like just horrible, So I was like, so that's a real fear for me, and like I don't have anyone to turn to in my family, because then I'm gonna have to do the labor of explaining to them, and they'll be like, well, as long as you don't do anything wrong, or like whatever. I'm like, it's not even like, I'm being alive while Asian is like wrong enough, So yeah. And then to your point, like, where do you, like, if you try to post online, just looking for like friendship, looking for like, hey, I hear you, I feel you, and you go to what feels like a closed off semi-space community, where there's like a adoptee group on Facebook or adoption subreddit or whatever, and you're like, like you just say like, hey, I'm feeling this way, and then people blast you, then you're like, well, how do I even find that community if I don't have the benefit of like living with people around me, or haven't like started the network online where I can just like send a bunch of DMs, like, it's hard.
Yeah. And that's the part that scares me, is that, Facebook or any social media is filled with people of all different, theories, ideas, backgrounds. There's going to be adoptees who are both conservative and liberal. And so that's where, and you don't even know on some of those groups if the people in there are actually all adoptees, because you can join those groups just, there's no background checks for those. You just join a thing. There could be an undercover ICE agent in those groups. So that's where I say that is not a safe space. Those types of places.
There could be an ICE agent who's adopted.
Yeah, that is true as well.
Probably
right?
Are.
So, yeah. And so I always fear, and I feel bad because, some of those groups are very large, and people looking for either just a community to talk about it or to ask questions about it, go to a community like that because it is the largest one, and they're going to find that it's maybe not what they're looking for. And I hate that. I wish there was a community for everyone. And maybe that means small community. Maybe that means start with these smaller local ones first and meeting people in person before you move into something as large as, this anonymous, entanglement of different types of opinions. Because you'll know pretty quickly, I think, if you're having like local meetups and stuff with adoptees or stuff, which ones you're gonna get along with better, and maybe have similar thoughts and background ideas and things like that. But an additional thing I wanted to say, Patrick, too, and you were saying you're watching people on social media and stuff like that. And I see people talk about ICE all the time on social media, and I see them lose followers because they're talking about it and about this, but then they'll show, that they've showed other photos of gaining followers. So that's where you were saying earlier about an echo chamber. Is I do feel that the people who don't want to hear certain stuff will, unsubscribe to people that they don't want to hear. And then the people who do want to hear it will subscribe to it. And then at that point, the only people following you are the people that have like-minded theories. Whereas, in a way, I don't know. Is it better to have a group of all different types of diversity and opinions, so that it's not just one opinion?
Well, yeah, and I think that, like, you mentioned something about like people could be liberal, conservative, whatever. I totally agree, and I think that just because you're conservative doesn't mean that it's okay to go door to door and take people out of their house. Like, if you are okay with that, I am not okay with you.
Yes.
But like, so at the beginning of the year, and I was making an effort to be off of social media as much as possible. And I felt like for the first 2.5 weeks, I did pretty good. And then for the last 2-3 weeks, it has not been great, because I feel like that is, like, ironically, one of the places that I now feel I can get trusted information, or information that I can like believe based on the people that I follow and the people that I follow because I know them in real life. Yeah. And after Alex Preddy was killed, and after like you saw a bunch of people in Minnesota, like you said, KJ, giving people hope, giving the world hope. Y'all probably don't know this because you don't live here, but right now for the last 20 years, we have had a Republican supermajority in our state house. So they control the House, the Senate, and have been in the governor's chair. And right now, they are trying to advance legislation through that would allow ICE to go essentially do what they're doing in Minnesota. They can go door to door. If you do not cooperate with them, you will be fined. You will face a lot of consequences, yada, yada, yada. Unfortunately, as much as we have organized and rallied against, it is pretty likely that that's going to pass. And so I was at a meeting a couple weeks ago, and like the thing that I walked away with was that I needed to be more plugged in to my neighbors around me. And I think like one of the conversations that I'm currently having is in regards to like a safe space is, do you know your neighbors, and can you build this like pod community here? Like, not any bigger, not online, but when the shit goes down, you can walk to that person's house and you can ask them to use their printer. Or you can be like, hey, ICE is in the community. I need to stay here because I'm the only naturalized citizen in this community, and I can't be at my house right now. Those kinds of things. Like, when I think about safe space right now, when I think about safety, I think about, am I getting connected with the people around me? Because at the end of the day, as much as the reason why I let off of this, as much as I am trusting what's happening on social media and I trust the things that are happening there, I know that's not going to be the place that I can go when boots are on the ground in my neighborhood. So I think like when you ask the question, KJ, of like, what can we do? And it's different, and obviously it's different for every single person, and it's a lot of context necessary to make the decision that you need to make in terms of how you build that community with the people around you. But do you have people in your life literally that are in a geographic proximity to you that you can have a plan with, like, or not just have a plan with, but like who know you, who would without hesitation provide you shelter, support you, and then beyond that, the little things, just like showing up in other ways. Like, do you have those people? And if not, is there a way for you to make the time to do that? And I feel like it's not really available to a lot of people, and especially why it sucks that stuff like that happens on Facebook and in these groups that are ostensibly meant to connect you and to provide you with community and safety, that a person who is recently come to consciousness can't enter into that space and find that, and then feels or experiences some of that negativity, goes back into their shell, and then doesn't leave their house because they feel like they don't have any reason to. Mm-hmm. And so, like, that sucks. And if you are in Indianapolis, reach out to me. I will be that person for you right now, because everybody needs it. And if you don't got it, adoptee, I'm looking at you. I'm looking over here. I'm looking at them. I got you. Because nobody should be on an island right now. Everybody needs community, and please don't turn me into the authorities. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that is real. I hope no one's turning anybody in, but as far
I don't think so. I don't think that.
I mean, within ourselves, but the PR of it, right? The louder, the voice, the more potential for possibilities, right? So I don't know how they find people. I don't know how ICE is hunting people out there or whatnot. But there is, worries when adoptees get together in, large groups and stuff like that, or any other groups and stuff like that when they're gathering. And so I know we've even talked about it at Con, where it's like, should we be concerned about this? Because are they going to look for large organizations that are like gathering and things like that and use that?
You know what I think is really interesting now that you just brought that up? In a really twisted piece of fate, our obscurity within the like lexicon of identities honestly might protect us in those situations. Like, they're not looking probably at adoption stuff to be like, oh, we're going to go there. You know what I mean? I was just thinking, like, they're not going to come round up the 300 adoptees at Con. I don't think, because they're like, oh, we're just going to go over here or whatever. Yeah. But right. I don't know. That just made me think of that.
But no, it is one of those things. It's like, how are they, organizing, and how are they looking for, places to go? Are they just looking at, they must have like criminal record backgrounds and like some kind of thing where they have.
Well, they have a mandate. They have a mandate to detain 3,000 people a day. Yeah. So, like, it's more of a quota than, like, fill in the numbers than it is, like, that's why citizens are getting tied up in this. And that's why adoptees, I think,
you don't even have to get it right. You just have to.
Are rightly to be afraid. Yeah. Not that you should be afraid, but, like, it is, like, legitimate fear if you are afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I heard on another podcast that, like, I said, detained an Asian man thinking it was somebody else who did have a criminal record, and they didn't bother to do the due diligence to realize that person they were looking for was already in jail, like literally already detained. So it's like, like there's like that classic, like, I don't know, all Asians look the same, I guess, like there's like one of the oldest race cards you could play. And so I think that's tough. And I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm sure I've probably talked about this before, but like, Patrick, I hear you, and I appreciate like you saying like you gotta like create a pod, you gotta go meet your neighbors. As an introvert married to a woman who is naturally afraid of men, and living in a house on the street where there are a lot of renters, how do you meet your neighbors? Like, what do you do? Go knock on the door and be like, I promise I'm not ICE. I just want to meet you for totally normal reasons. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like it's a little bit easier now that we have Benji and we like go to our local parks. But like, I don't know where you live. I don't want. That's a weird question to ask. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So it's just like,
Mhm.
I don't know. And again, I don't get out at all. Half of that's by design.
So you were exactly the person I was thinking about when I was added like context. All of that matters because
Yeah.
you do kind of have a pod like of people
Mhm.
in the Dallas area like
Yeah,
that you could be connected with, and I think that's the other part of it is like that's what I meant. That I guess that's and again, your area could be vast, and maybe you're in a rural area where you're definitely isolated, and this makes it almost impossible. I'm definitely not discounting the impossibility of it, and like you do have. I'm not gonna. I don't see. I'm afraid to even mention
names.
other people's names.
No. I know,
You know what
but
I
know.
I just
I
mean
know what
like
you're saying.
I literally mean like because I'm like I think about this a lot actually. I like when we moved into our house, the only person that came and knocked on our door was a young boy, and he was like, "Can the girls come out and play?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry, I don't know who you're referring to. They have moved. I'm sorry to let you down." This
Damn.
kid was probably like no older than 9. He's the
Damn.
only person. I got lucky in that somebody that I knew growing up in church happened to move into the house like 3 doors down and across the street. So I know one of my neighbors that way. I know like Sarah met one of my other neighbors because they were at the park and they have like a thing on their car. So I'm like, oh, I know who you are, right? Like I know where you live because you park in front of your house. And I've talked to one other neighbor. So like, but like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you,
Yeah, for sure.
what I mean is like, how do you meet literally people that you live in close proximity with? How do you build that community with your literal community when like everybody's got a Ring camera so they can know, oh, I don't want to answer the door because you're not somebody that I know. And everybody's, you know what I mean? Like, so like, I don't want to go anywhere because like, I just have like my groceries delivered to me or I have my whatever delivered to me. Like, so how, like literally, how do you meet people, especially for someone like me who is not naturally extroverted and who is like doesn't have to go anywhere necessarily, you know, or like, and it could be the opposite. Like maybe your job always takes you away or you know, whatever. So
I'm sure Patrick has different.
I have an absolutely dog shit
you go,
answer.
and then I'll go.
You probably have a better answer than me. you tell yours. Actually, mine might probably add on to yours. Actually,
I
so
organize.
you go
I
first.
organize poker nights.
Oh, was that your answer?
It's not my real answer, but it is true.
That is still a good answer.
Yeah, no, I have actually been more social by organizing like little gatherings like that. I've met a lot of new neighbors because of poker nights. They invite somebody, they invite a neighbor, somebody comes by, and I'm meeting new people. I met a new guy down the street. He's like 6 or 7 doors down, but I've never met him before. A couple weeks ago, and he likes Lego also. And I was like, oh, sweet. So, you know, it's funny. You never really
Lego. I found another Lego nerd.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you find another Lego nerd.
Okay, so like, are you like posting that like on a light post?
No.
Are you like?
How'd you meet the neighbors at first?
Long story. Yeah, long story. But the short part of it is just I met a person who invited me to one poker night, and I went to that poker night, and then we started just branching out, inviting friends of friends.
So is it like just text?
Yeah, by text.
Okay,
or actually,
great.
we use WhatsApp now. But yeah, so
sure,
it just kind
but
grew
it's
from
private
there.
messages. It's
It
not
is.
like
Private messages
you're not like
moved
putting up
around.
a bulletin board.
You're not
community
creating an
thing, like,
Eventbrite link.
No,
on the,
exactly.
Yeah, putting it on like on your mailbox
Yeah.
or something.
No.
Going door to door,
or the
like-
community message board. No, we're not doing any of that. So, but that was the light one. The other one that I was going to say is the more logical one that will probably happen for you is when Minji is old enough to go to school, or I don't know if she's going to daycares and stuff that you're going to. You will meet a lot more parents in the meetups and the gatherings and the birthday parties and the events like that potentially are in your area. They might not be your neighbor. I mean, my neighborhood's a little bit different because it's such a condensed school focused neighborhood, but you might meet people within a mile though because of that, because of the schools, and you just have to find which.
So in the next 1 to 3 years,
I was going to say your next 5-year plan, your 5-year community building plan.
It'll just happen organically. But
exactly.
if you don't have kids,
it's a less worse.
And you don't like poker, you're shit out of luck. Sorry.
Okay.
Bro.
All right. I'm so glad that you said that. And actually, Nathan, I'm glad that you said both of yours because I think my answer is
His
still
answer
terrible.
just got less bad.
My answer is still terrible, but yeah, it did get a little less bad. But I'm like the complete honest answer is that it's going to take some luck. It's just going to you're going to luck into it. And I heard some person said this. I don't know. A thing was quoted, and essentially the quote was like, "There's always like 10% luck in every interaction, experience, thing that happens in your life. There's always a little bit of luck that makes that thing happen." So like the whole preparation, the whole whatever, being like doing all of that, like you're always going to require there's always going to be a little bit of stuff outside of your control that's going to make that thing happen. And that's what would be my advice to people right now is like, you're going to get lucky and you're going to stumble into this relationship with somebody. And then like Nathan said, that'll lead to another text and that'll lead to another text. And slowly, like that'll be in your 5-year plan. But like slowly within like that first few months, I think you'll find 1 or 2 people like to be part of that in your literal proximity, but it's going to be because that luck came through, whatever it is. Like, sure, Sarah at the park or Minji at school, like something is going to be there, but then like, boop, like something's going to happen and you're going to be like, oh shit, now I'm friends with this guy or this girl
I'm in that poker night.
Yeah,
exactly. You're doing what you want to do. You're playing. You formed a dad band, and you're rocking out in the garage.
Dad band. Oh my god, I legit love that so much.
I would love that for you. I
just
think
to play like garage shows. That'd be amazing.
Just to play for your kids. Yeah. The yard shows.
Yeah,
see?
just Freddy Spaghetti.
And then that's how you build community. And then you'll be hosting yard shows, and then one band turns into 3 bands because for some reason a bunch of people buy the houses around you and there are no more renters. It's just families because they're like, this dude hosts bands out of his backyard. He hosts concerts.
Get famous on
and
TikTok.
The people that play in them are all 40-year-old dads. So I say that, but just like it's like, honestly, I'm introverted, but I figured out at a really early age how to be extroverted. And so like to put myself in a situation that I'm probably not comfortable in and walk away with something. You know, and like, again, I didn't realize till way later on in life that the luck was playing a big part in that. But like, it's hard for me to say or even come up with what I feel like would be even advice for somebody as yourself who lives in a situation in the context that you live, like to be like, yeah, just go out and knock on the door. Like, fake selling Girl Scout cookies. I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know what would be. I don't know what would be a good thing, like a way to approach it. You know, because you're in a situation that I'm not in currently.
Yeah. Well, no, but I think it's like, so yeah. I think that there are parts of what you both have said that are applicable in any situation, and totally. I think what I'm hearing is you just got to be there. And so, as scary as it can be to congregate in a place, to go to a place, whatever, I would also say, just from my own experience, there's a lot of benefit in being a regular at a place. Like when I go to my local Panera, we don't really talk to the manager, but I know that she knows me by sight, you know. And when Minji was born, and we brought her there because that was like our first time to like get out of the house, she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. Like your daughter is beautiful, blah, blah, blah." Like it was like a place to have community, just in that like I go to the Panera and work there like maybe every other week, like for one morning, you know. But it's regular enough. They're the same thing. Like, I mean, I got lucky in that like there are 2 Korean ladies who work at my local Great Clips who cut my hair. And so like I actually talk to them, but like the same kind of thing of like, if you go and get your hair cut, if you could frequent a restaurant, those kinds of things that like, they may not like show up for you and like hide you in their house, but they may also be like, oh wait, I know that person. They're a part of our community. And like, as you talk to them, just like build friendly relations, then like if they need to like do something like vote or speak up at a town hall or, you know, anything like that, you know, then I think that helps build that kind of like third level of network, you know, of like, at least I've got some like community. It's not like I'm not going to hide in your home and I may not like go over to your house for anything like that. But I think there's like kind of tiers of centrality, like the rings, you know, of like of community. For sure. And I think that like building up that third ring is something that I think you guys can do that may help get you into a second ring or a first ring, but like at least being present, being intentional, you know. And like there are places like Sarah takes Minji to our library like every week, you know, and that's that's free. You just go to the library, you meet people there, like you can meet the people who work at the library, like all that kind of stuff. Like so you don't need to like pay anything except to like get there, unless you live close enough to walk. So like, I think that there are ways that you can become a regular at places so that people can know you. And also just side note, something I learned from the pandemic, it feels really nice to like go to a place and like be known by someone because it can get really lonely,
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just like, you just have to like be safe, bring whatever like identification makes you feel protected as much as possible. And then like find the courage to go to a place and become a regular. You don't have, like I said, you don't have to really talk to anyone. Just like give them a smile and be like, "Hey, I see you working here. I'm also here." Find that friendly face and then just like become a regular friendly face.
Yeah, common locations, common activities, common interests. I think all of that's great. And it is something I said that I've been here in Colorado now 5 years, and I still wouldn't say I have any close friend as close as some of the friends that I made back in California when I lived there. So it's still, even though I have met a lot of people that have similar interests and ideals and things like that, it's still a long, slow process, I feel. Even with my poker games and golf outings and things like that, I feel like the connections are still developing. And even some of the friends that I have out here are not, politically on the same direction as I am. And that frustrates me, for sure. But there are some that do have similar ones. So that again is a patience thing. I have to like slowly, work my way into those rings and move things up. And then, depending on how well you get along, that's you go from there. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough adulting.
Being an adult is tough.
Yeah. Well, I think just being anyone that's not in like high school, college, it's hard to make friends. And it's hard to like, and nobody like really tells you what to do. I think like, to your point, Nathan, about like when you're in community with somebody who doesn't like, whose political ideology doesn't align with yours, you still can have like a better conversation with them because you're in community with them than if you were to come across them online. And I think that's another benefit is like you see humanity first and then ideals second, and then you generic, all of us, we have to then reconcile our ideologies with the humans in front of us or the humans next to us or the humans beside us. And then it's like, okay, well, this is my lived experience and my ideology doesn't exactly match up with what I'm experiencing. Something's got to give. I either need to buckle down and change my experience or change my ideology to allow for what I've just experienced. And I think that's where like, that's the real power of being in community with people who don't believe the same as you, is like the way that you think becomes more robust. The way that you open yourself up to life becomes more like full, more varied, more, all that kind of stuff. And most people don't live perfectly in line with their ideologies. Like they say they believe one thing, but then their actions will be like, no, that's not exactly what you say you believe. And most people just kind of live in the cognitive dissonance of it. So, I think that's normal too. But if you're trying to align those things, trying to focus on yourself or change hearts and minds of other people, then I think like that, like living, being, breathing the same space, being in the same space, that's really important. And it goes a long way.
Well, I think that's what you learn when you find yourself in like a community space, like at a rally or a protest, or even just like a public hearing or something. Like, and you're just out there, and then you start talking to the people around you. You realize, like, oh, we all actually believe different things or think different things, but like at the end of the day, we all have a similar goal, and the reason that we're showing up is because we want better for the people in our community. And we realize that a lot of different styles and lifestyles and perspectives and people live in this community. And it, like you said, you see the humanity first. And like it allows you to weed out the bad actors who say they believe in one thing, but then their actions show a completely different thing. And I think we're seeing a lot of that happen right now in Indianapolis. Is just like people are not willing to buy the bullshit anymore, and we're seeing through it. And unfortunately, that means that more terrible shit is going to happen. And like I'm encouraged, like the people in Minnesota, that people are going to stand up and take care of each other.
Yeah. My pals are gathering at the end of the month to do Lunar New Year observation, and I'm really looking forward to it. I was like, I think to your earlier point, I was like, should we even be doing this? But at the same time, remember, be like, no, this is what we're like. We're allowed to be alive. We're allowed to be alive. We're allowed to have fun. We're allowed to eat some good food.
Yeah.
They want you to not do it, which is all the more reason that you should do it 100 times more than you would ever do it before.
Exactly. Yeah. Being joyful is an act of defiance. And to quote one of my favorite Star Wars lines, rebellions are built on hope. And I think like if you're not finding hope, like go look for it. I promise it's out there. And if you still can't find it, DM me and I will send you a picture of my daughter, and I guarantee that will put a smile on your face.
Makes me smile every single time.
So she's cute as hell.
So cute.
She is cute. It makes me mad because I'm like, my son is cute, and it's hard to ever. I think I said this on the last time we talked. Anybody ahead of his cuteness, but Minji is pretty up there.
It's right there.
Pretty up there.
Yeah, that's why when they get married, it'll be perfect. Arranged.
You've been pushing that marriage.
Oh goodness.
I'm not against
marriage. It's fine.
It's fine.
I would accept any of your children as well, Nathan. But
that's very traditional Korean for me. So
yeah,
that's my way in.
That's your way in.
Arranged marriage of my child.
Amazing. On that note, we should probably do a food.
Sure, let's do a snack.
So let's make that happen right now.
Welcome back to the Janchi Show, the portion why Nathan shows up.
The only reason Nathan is here. But he doesn't pay attention to everything, so if you're ever a guest, take it personally.
That's true. I listen to everything. I just don't understand everything. That's different.
Like the IPAs.
Yes. So today we are having a snack. Something that we have had before, but not this flavor. They're Ace crackers, made by Haitai. Sorry, Haitai. I said it again. Haitai. Ace crackers espresso. I like it. Comes in a nice little black package.
Talk about
Use a Green Carpenter.
Talk about me.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
about
it
me.
does.
Espresso.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's how I was like, yabba-da-dee, dabba-da-do, yabba-da-dee, espresso.
I mostly know it from the Domingo character.
From the Domingo
on
sketch?
SNL.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Saturday Night Live sketch. Is that?
Yes, that's the same one.
That's the same one. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like that one because it was done at a wedding. So
I forgot these.
He's like my favorite comedian right now. Marcelo Hernandez. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's really having a moment.
Dude, I really like the skits with Chalamet, Timothy Chalamet on Saturday Night Live. Those were great. Those were so good. Okay, look, there's like little streaks of darkness in the cracker.
Okay, so I was gonna say like this is like filled, right? With espresso.
Oh, it smells great.
I can't smell anything.
It definitely smells of coffee.
It doesn't taste of coffee?
It does not taste of. Oh, yep, that second bite tasted of coffee. Kind of dry.
It's not as strong. Yeah, I need some coffee to go along with this.
I need some chocolate. Stat.
Coffee and chocolate.
Or some whipped cream.
So it's interesting. It's very light and flaky, but yet there's like a thin layer of like the flavoring on the inside. But it's like dry flavoring.
Is it a salty cracker?
I mean, it's got the consistency of a Ritz.
I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
Like it tastes like a Ritz cracker kind of with a little hint of espresso. Like I said, it smells great. Question is this going to keep me up now because we're having this at like 8:00 at night?
No.
I'm very
Yeah,
sensitive.
I don't know if I like these.
Yeah, I know. I keep eating them because I don't know if I
literally
like them or
was just
not.
about to say the same thing. I'm like, I'm gonna eat the rest of them, but
I mean,
I don't know if I like it.
okay, ratings, and then number 2, what would make it better?
I'm gonna give it 2.5
2.5.
because I thought I was gonna give it a lower one, but I'm like, it's like cracker. Cracker is neutral.
Yeah,
It
is
could
very
definitely
neutral.
use some chocolate or just anything. It could just use anything,
Just anything.
any flavor.
I feel like what's interesting though is I feel like Ace crackers are generally pretty good. Like we've had a number of them.
Yeah.
I need the butter.
And
Give me some
Yeah,
butter.
I think they're good.
I mean, it's a buttery, flaky cracker, but yeah, it's not super like wow. I think I wanted more coffee flavor, and if I wanted more coffee flavor, I don't know.
I
I
go
wanted
make a
maybe
cup.
a tad sweeter, and it's kind of salty, not sweet.
Yeah,
So, like
okay,
the chocolate. The chocolate
Yeah,
would
I'm-
add a nice.
I want the sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
This is
chocolate
bland,
would have
very
been
bland to me.
key. If it was like half dipped in chocolate, I think this would be even much better. But
Oh, yeah, a dip would be great.
yeah, so I'm gonna agree 2.5 for me as well.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a reason to give it any higher. I really want it to be better.
Yeah,
And I think like
Me
as a
too.
standalone cracker, it's really good. And I think actually the coffee gets in the way of what the
Yes.
cracker is.
Hmm.
Which
I
is
feel
like
I'm eating
kind
a
of
cracker, and then
Except for
there's
the
like
smell.
bits of coffee grounds in my mouth afterwards.
The
Yeah.
smell. It's a 3.5 on the smell. I really like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me. I went to like I think it was like a tour le jour, one of those like Korean French cafes, right?
Cool.
And I got like a tiramisu or something. I don't know, something with the espresso on it. Is this, yeah. And they just like dumped espresso powder on top, just like a metric ton. And I was like, this is far too much. So I wonder if it's maybe just a Korean sensibility of like, if we're putting espresso in there, it's gonna be there, you know? Anyways, I'm not that kind of Korean, so did not fully enjoy it. So
Same.
Their cakes are great though.
I agree. The dunking, like if this was like a half dunked in a chocolate, that would put it over the top. Make
Yep.
it significantly better.
Definitely taking
All right,
it beyond
Ace.
3.
That being said, since I've opened a second package, I will be finishing the second package.
I
let me
mean,
know
you
if
said
it
it's a
keeps you
good
up.
cracker.
I just don't know how much caffeine's in. I mean, it's got to be a minimal amount of caffeine, but
Remember that snack that we had, that we thought it was like 300 grams of sugar or whatever in one serving?
yeah, we
When
were
we did the
reading it
math wrong.
wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I need to go back and listen to that because that was
Funny. Funny. Good stuff.
cool. Well, good conversation today.
Yep.
Yeah, short and sweet food portion.
That calls for nothing more,
Yeah.
if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, sweet in that it's short, not that it's actually that sweet of a cracker.
Cut that
What?
part out.
Oh my god.
I'm cutting a lot of this part out.
I'm cutting the food out.
I'm cutting
That's how neutral the cracker was. I'm going to cut
Yes,
the
no
entire
the
part of
food
it.
portion out. It's fine. Thank you so much for hanging with us. If you find yourself in a place and you feel like you don't have a community, I'm going to say personally, you can reach out to me and I will at least send you a message. Patrick is signaling that he also is available for reaching out to. If you just like need someone to like hold space for you, I will virtually do so. And Patrick will also do so. You can reach out to the show, collectively the Janchi Show, run by one of the three of us at any given time, at Janchi Show on social media platforms wherever we want to be found and exist. I can tell you it's not really any text-based social media. It's mostly just Instagram, maybe TikTok if you're there. If you're still using that platform, no worries if you're not. You can send us an email to janchishow@gmail.com, or you can visit our website and send us I think we have a contact form there, janchishow.com. If you want to be a guest, if you are an Asian adoptee, we'd love to have you on. Please sign up to be a guest at janchishow.com/guest, or link is in our bio on our social platforms. I'm KJ Roelke, wherever I want to be found on the internet.
I am N No Walk on Instagram.
And I am Patrick in the World on Instagram and on Threads. If you're going to reach out to me, make it one of those two platforms, or you can send me an email. to patrick@patrickoftheworld.me, or that's it, I think.
Or
Everyone.
you can send him
Or-
a letter at P.O. Box
Oh,
3512. We should have a P.O. Box. for the
Anywhere,
Janchi Show.
California.
123 Main
Or-
Street.
His phone number is 867-5309. Right.
We should bring that back.
Would it be a new phone number?
All right.
That's fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Nobody
The
called.
voicemails are fun.
no one called. It's okay.
Maybe
It's
I'll
fine.
start calling in
Meh.
character.
Yeah,
Trying
you
out
should.
comedy.
You should leave us. Yeah, just to get the segment started. It's fine. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Until next time, Janchi. Hey.
Hey-o. Hey-o.